Okay, so I want to show you first how we can use the Power BI API. What options that API gives us. So how we can use the API and why that's important. Then I want to show you how we can use that API or run that API by using the Power Automate to create a flow, run that API, and manage the output of that flow. And if we found some times at the end, I will show you how to execute DAGs. I add that how to execute DAGs to this session because in the past we had to use API to run DAGs against any dataset. But around 1 year ago, the new action has been added to the Power BI items on Power Automate, so we can run it without using API. So because it's there, I added that here, but I'm not sure I want to. If I found time, if we have enough time at the end, I will show that to you. But otherwise, you can run it without using the API. So what is an API? So API are mechanisms that enable two software components to communicate with each other using a set of definition and protocols. It's a software to software interface. It's not the people going to this software, pull the information and that other software and import the data there or put some info there or get some info there. So not a user interface. It's a software to software interface that two or more computer programs to communicate with each other. So without a user involvement, those two software will talk to each other with this will communicate with each other. So a great example for the API is a restaurant. So imagine you have you are going to the restaurant and you are the customer. So and the waiter is the API for you because you will give the order to the waiter and that waiter will take your order and will give that to the kitchen. And then the chef will cook the food for you and then give the food to the waiter, which is the API again, and the waiter will give you the food. So the order is the request from the customer, which is you in the restaurant. API, that's a waiter. So give the request to the kitchen and get the kitchen process that request and give the result or give the information or whatever request, the answer for that request to the API, and the API will give that response to the customer. So the customer and kitchen can be two softwares, and API is the connection between them. So you as a customer never go to the kitchen and say, okay, I want this type of food, or the chef never see you to say, okay, what do you want to have tonight or today? So that waiter is the API. So we want to do something like that. So we want to use the Power Automate to pull some information from the Power BI without clicking on something, without going to the Power BI and get those information. So the request and the answer. So different ways that APIs can work. We have different set of the APIs here. I don't want to go to and define all of them here or go to the deeply inside those different type of APIs. But what we want to type today is the REST API. So REST API is the Power BI using the REST API, which is the most popular and flexible APIs found on the web today. So the client send the request, which is that order in the restaurant, to the server as data. The server use the client input to start internal functions and return output data back to the client. So that's REST APIs. Okay, so let me close this one and okay, here. So REST API methods, we have actually four main ones, but 5 methods. So we have post, get, put, and delete. And that's the create, read, update, delete, which is the crowd. And that crowd is very familiar and very common between the computer programmers. So C stands for create, R stands for read, U stands for update, and D for delete. So that post, get, put, and delete we can map them to that create, read, update, and delete. So when you use the post method, means you want to create something. When you use the get method, means you want to read information. You want to get some information from the software or from the server. So when you use the put, there is something there. You want to update the metadata of that one. You want to update some part of the information, some part of the structure of that server or the software you want to send the request to. And the delete is the delete. But there is another one which is patch, and that's partially update data and resource. So it's between the post and get, but post and put. So it's a partially update data. It's not update. It's not post. So it's a patch. What we want to do here, as I mentioned at the first of this session, we want to use a Power Automate to get some data from the Power BI and then manage those data. We want to run Power BI APIs by using the Power Automate. What we need to first, to use this Power BI REST API, we need to register an app in Active Directory. So that app is the service principal for us. So whenever you run that API by using Power Automate, that will use that service principal as an app as a gateway to connect those two to each other. So we first need to create that app, then use that app in Power Automate and Power BI to be able to run the API there. So that was the last slide from myself. The rest of this session will be demo. So please feel free to unmute yourself, raise your question in the chat box. Don't wait to the end of the session. I'm totally flexible. Whenever you want, just unmute yourself and shoot your question to me. So let's close this one. If I find my mouse pointer, yeah, it's here. So I have this Power BI tenant for myself, which is one of those test Power BI on Microsoft. So that's for the Microsoft. That's a very good sandbox tenant for myself. If you don't know how to use that or create that one, use that one. Just check, just search using Sandbox Power BI, and you can find Reza Rod video and blog posts about that. That's totally free, 19 days, 25 Microsoft 365 E5 licenses, and it's really great if you want to do some demo, if you want to test some scenarios here. What I have here, I have four workspaces here, and one my workspace, which is not part of this demo, but I have 4 workspaces here. So that's my Power BI. And then what is the REST API on Power BI API? So there is a good, there are many good documentations about that one. So if you just search Power BI REST API on Google it, you can find that on a chat, on a Google, but I will send it in the chat box just for you want to find it easily. So, okay. So here we have different categories for the Power BI, so we can run that with the admin. So there are many of them here. We can use the group. The group means the workspace, so we can run that one. So let's see what we have here. So for example, we want to create a group. So when we want to create a group, there are some information here. So first is the description of that one. It will create a new workspace. The group is workspace in here. So whenever you see the group in the Power BI REST API documentation, that's the workspace. So this API said this is the permission you need. So this is the workspace read and write all. I will tell you why this is important. So we need to check this one whenever we want to run that one, where we want to run the API, because when we create that app, we can assign different level of access or different access to that application. So when you want to use this one, this type of access or this scope need to be part of that application. So the application has to have this one. So okay, what we have here, that's the URL and the API. code. So what we have first is the post. That's the type of this API. We want to create something. So because of that, we need to use the post. So then we need to run this one, the post, and then this HTTP API, Power BI, and the rest of that one. So then we have some optional parameters here. So you can see what those parameters there. Some of them has one parameter, some of them have more than one parameters, and 2, 3, 4, 5 parameters. So you can find all the information here, and you can see some the examples here. They run that one. So the status is 200, which means that successfully run, and that's an example of the output of that API. So okay, we want to test that one, but before that one, let me show you another type of the API post here. If I want to remove a workspace, then I can use the delete one. Then again, I need this required scope workspace, which is that part of the access, level of access we need to have with that application. And then this is the delete. If I want to get the user update, user group users, then it's a get. So when we want to get the information from what we have, get. When we want to create something, post. When we want to delete something, we can use delete there. So okay, so I think we have, I show that here, show all information here, just show you something else. See here for the scope, we have two different type of the access here. Or if I want to use this one here, for example, here I need different require the scope, tenant read all, tenant read write all. Or if I want to run something against the data flow here, let's get data flow, I need the data flow read all. So make sure you check this one, and make sure whenever you want to run this one, you have the proper this access to your app. Okay, so let's check it. The good thing here, we can try it in here in the website, and that's really, really handy and very useful for us. So whenever we want to test a scenario, we can run it first here, check the output, and then use that in the Power Automate. What I want to do, I want to run the Power Automate and get the users of my user of my workspace. I want to know which people have access to my workspace, so I can run this one. So I click on try it. That will take a minute, so I need to check it again. It will show me some information here to sign in like this. You want to sign in with this one, yes, and then show the tenant for me because I have two tenants, so I want to use this one and create. So what I have here, it shows one items here. Let me just here go. Okay. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. So here we have the API here. So request URL is like this one, and we have parameter here. So I want to use that parameter, and that's here. I can add it here, the group ID. So I want to get the information for this demo workspace. So when I want to find the group ID in the URL here, after the group, this part is the group ID or workspace ID. I can just copy this one back to my Automate page here, the API page, and just run it. So it will give me the rest, the value here. It shows just one person as an admin, which is my email address, has access to here. So let's check it here, manage access, and that's correct. I'm the only person who has access to there. So let me check another one here, manage access. There are many people here, so let me add this one there. So copy this group one there and add it there, change it here, and run it. So this shows all of them. So first shows them use if you have a group, a security group that will in the output you can find it there. So our company is the principal that is the group, so it's the security group, and I added as a user to the user of that workspace, so the people in that security group have access to that workspace. So my email address as a user, you can see the different type of the access the people have there and the rest of them there. So If I want to create a workspace there, I can create it by just one click here. So create a user group here. I can click on that one, so I can add it here. So in this one, I need to add a body to my API. So let's try it here. Okay, continue. So here, parameters, there's no parameter here, but we need to add the body here. So I will copy this one as a sample, copy or here, or I can just add it test for demo. And just, I don't have that workspace here. I just run that one there and it shows 200 minutes run and should be here. If I refresh my page, there is test for demo workspace here. So, and shouldn't be anything inside that one. And I can remove that one. I can delete that one here with just one click, delete one group and the group ID, try it here. Click on it, close this one. Okay, create account. Here, I just need to add the group ID because that's one required parameters there. So it's a group ID here. I can copy, paste it here and run it. So 200, that's removed. So if I refresh my page, that user group has been deleted. So it's not there anymore. So now we just find out what is the documentation, how we can test it, what is the delete, get, post, and how we can run it. So, but we want to run this one with the Power Automate. So to use that one first, we need to create a Azure Active Directory application. If I go to the portal Azure, I will show you where we can find that one and how we can create that one. So in Active Directory, so here there is an icon here as an app registered. If I click on that one, I can register my application here directly from here, or the best one and easiest way to create that one is to go to the onboarding embed tool here. I will send the link in the chat again for you. And then there are two options for us. One is embed for customers. If you don't want to get the login or the permission to access that app, you can use this one. If you want to create some app and share that with outside your organization, you can use this one, or embed for your organization. And that permission to access it needs the Power BI account, but this one doesn't need the Power BI account. So I will use this one, embed for your organization. Just click on that one and it asks me to sign in first. So I will click on sign in. And that find my email address there. So, okay, and the next is the application name. I will name it PBI API. There, that's the application name. You can use whatever you want. Here, it asks me for the home page URL. I will add the Power BI first page, the main page of the Power BI there. And that asks me the redirect URL. I will leave it as is. And these are those important options. Whenever we wanted to run this one, it asks us what type of the information, what type of access we need in here. For each of them is different. For this one is the workspace read, write, all. If I want to use the gateway, for example, it needs another type of for example, dataset. If I want to delete dataset, it needs dataset read and write. So here you can find all of them here. So I will, so for the workspace, I need this one, which is the group workspace, read all workspace or read and write. So I select all. I need to add all of these access to my application and just click on register. The next question is not important. I just add skip, and import content, you can skip that one. But the most important part is this area. We need this application ID and this application secret. We can find the application ID in the the Azure portal, but we can't find it there. You can create a secret code or key in the portal, but when you see this one, just make sure to copy this and keep it somewhere. So we open the notepad and keep it here. for future. And then here, if I refresh my page, now there should be an application here, and I can see PBI API has been created. I created here, and it added to my portal, Azure portal. If I click on that one, I can see all the information here, application ID. Here, it's same as this one, so we can find that one. If I go there if I go there, I have the tenant ID, object ID, and one secret here. If I click on the secret, I can find the secret here, but I want to use this secret, not that secret, because sometimes if I use this one and that doesn't work, so this one is really important. Just keep it handy or keep it somewhere for yourself. And the important thing here is the API permission. I added all of them here, and I can add another permission here. Just click add a permission. If I want Power BI service, for example, if I want the application permission, I can add tenant read and tenant read at all. If you want to use admin work APIs, for most of them, you need this tenant one, and that's not there by default. So if I want to go there, here, I need to add them there. So I will just add this one, tenant read and write, just in case if we need it in future. So that has been added here, and I will grant admin consent for my tenant to this one. So I added that one there. So everything ready to be used there. Before we use that application there, that's a service principal now. So we need to change some options in our admin portal. This is the new UI of the Power BI service because of that fabric, which has been announced last week. So you can see the one lake here, and you can find more options here. But the admin portal is admin portal. It was admin portal before. So I click on that one. There are some new items here. As you can see, new, and this is the fabric one. If I want to run my open the fabric and use the fabric, but I don't want to use that here. So there are some options here which I need to turn them on before running them. So first of all, here, admin API setting, allow service principal to use read only, admin only. This one is more, sorry, I will tell you about that one as well. So developer setting, allow service principal to use Power BI admins. I turn that on, but by default is off. Make sure to turn this on before using that app. Otherwise, you will face with some issues. So make sure that's on. And if you want to use some of these admin APIs, make sure these items are on as well. So you need to turn them on, and when it's done, we can use that, for example, here. So let's create a flow now. Let's go to the Power Automate and create one flow for this one. Any questions so far? Okay. No. Silent means no question. Okay. So, okay, now it's time to use the Power Automate. I will go to my flow here. I will create instant Cloudflow because I want to run that manually. You can change the trigger to be run every time or any type of the trigger. So here I will add the HTTP. So whenever you want to use that URL, because the API, for API, you need to use the URL, so you need the HTTP. And you can see that's premium, means whenever you want to use that, you need the license for Power Automate. When I click on this one, this gear at the top right, I can see view my license. I have the premium license and I can use that one. So again, if you want to use and test these items, you can create one sandbox in the Office 365 or there's a developer. You can find, if you check just Power BI sandbox or Google it, you can find Reservoir has a great video and a post about that. So you can create this one and test it. By the way, it will give you 19 days trial to use all the premium items. So I have a I have a license, so I can use this one, the HTTP. So here we can see all those 5 methods. For example, I want to use, let's go to the workspace group and then get the group users. Let's use this one. And I want to use this one, so it's get. I will click get. Here, the URI here is this one. Yeah. But I need to change this. I need to change this one. So I will add, I can directly add that here from my Power BI, copy this one and add it here. Just replace it here. Let me just a little bit zoom in. Just replace it here. Or I can create a parameter and add that parameter here. So I will use a parameter here. Variable, sorry, variable here. So I can initialize a variable here. So I can name it as a group ID. It should be text string here, and the value it's this one. And then I can use this, rename it as a group ID, and then I can use that one here. So rather than type it there, I can add it here. So because I add that group ID here, but I need to add more information here. First, the authentication. For authentication, we need to use Active Directory OAuth. So why we need to use that one? Because we want to connect to our service principal. So we need to use that one. So the tenant ID, again, in the Azure portal, open the Active Directory and then find your Apple application. And then here you can find the tenant ID. Here you can find tenant ID. I copy this one, go to there, add it here. The client ID, I can find it here, client ID, copy and paste it here. And then the secret one, which I copied that here. Before here, and then there is another items here. The audience, you need to use this analysis Windows.NET and Power BI API. I will send that in the chat again if you want to use that one. Okay, so let's test it. Let's save it and test it. So make sure to add all of these items correctly, otherwise we will face with issues. So I want to use this one for my demo workspace. So, okay, I will face with issue and I want to show you why I face with that issue. So let's run it. Okay, so this HTTP, we will run into the issue because they couldn't find Power BI entity not find. Why? Because I need to add that application, that service principal to this workspace. I need to add it here and give that proper access. So Power BI API, if I search it here, I can find it here as a service principal and I will give it admin there. And if I back, I can see Power BI API here as an admin. So here, that's done. Let's test that my flow again. Test it again. Hopefully this time it works. Yeah, that's done. So I can see all of this information here with the admin. I can see the Power BI. That's the app. It's nice that is an app, and I can see that my another user. So there are 2 users, and I find it there. So I can run that one for another workspace, which is, let's run it for this one. So there are many people here. So I can copy the group ID, which is here. Copy this one here, add it there, and test it manually and test that there. Run the flow. Sorry, what's happened there? Oh yeah, because I didn't add that API, the service principal here. So I need to add it here, add the PBI API, which is my service principal, and give it admin access. Done here. So let's run it again. Test it and run it. Okay, so now we have all those information here, all of them. So now I want to manage this output. I have all of those users, but I want to get those information as a table in my email every day. I want to know, or I can set another information there to see, for example, which user has been removed or added to the list. But for now, I will use this one. But there are many more than 200 or 300, 100 different type of API here. You can check them and see which one will answer your business question. So for now, I will use this one. So I have this body here. I will save it because I want to use that one. So the output of that API is in a JSON format. So I will add another step there to pass that JSON. So here, pass JSON, I will add the body of this one here. So content is from the body, the output of the HTTP, and the schema, I don't know the schema, so I will generate that from sample. So I copied the output when I run that before last time. So I will paste it here. That's the output. So done, and that will create the schema for us. So that's done. So let's create another step because I want to create the table there. So I will use the HTML table. Create HTML table, and from the output of this here, so from the value of this one. So let's test this one to see how it looks like there. Done that one, and that's done. So now we have a table here. So we have a table with all of those members there. So let's send it an email that to my email address. Let's see, can I open my email here? Copy this one. Ooh, I have many emails which are rubbish. I will remove that. These are from Microsoft. These are valuable, but I will remove them from now. For now, okay. Now I can email the output here. So new step is the send email. So send email, if I send that one, we have two options, send email v3 and v2. If you use the v3, you will receive an email from the default email address, which has been created by Microsoft, but there are some limitation there, 100 emails per day, I think, or 100 emails per hours. But I will send an email v2, which will use my email address to send the email address to the other people. So I will add the my email address there, select that one, subject, users for the workspace, nice, yeah, and here, yeah, okay, added there, and then in the body I want to use the output of the create table, so there, and I will test it now, test it to see what I will get from this one. Sign into this one, that's add, okay, continue, because this needs the permission to be able to send the email address. That's done, and I will receive an email super fast. And this is the list of all those people who has access to my workspace. So that's a list. I can change everything here, or I can format them in the better view. So what I can do, I can use some CSS, copy paste this here, so I can add that there. So add another action here to compose here, add it there. You can find, if you search to how to add a style to the table, you can find many of this, but let me paste it in the chat if you need that one. So it will style that style, we need to apply that to something. So I need to apply that to the output of the HTML. So I will add the output of HTML here, and then I need to change what I added here. So I need this time use the output of the compose. So let's test this one. Run this one here, And that's done, and I receive another message, and this one is much more better than the previous one. So I can see I have all company, which is the security group, and that's a member, the level of the access of that user group, and all the people part of that user group is member. And then we have one admin, 2, 3 admins here, which is this ID user, and you can see all of the email address there. So you can customize this by writing some HTML code there, or just use the select one and add those information in another way. Or you can add another thing here. For example, here, if I want to get the groups, I want to know how many groups I have in my tenant. So I will use this one. Actually, the good thing, which I need to mention here, it's not all the groups in tenant, because I use this type of the API. It's all the groups which I have access to that one. If I want to see all the groups as an admin, then I need to use another API in the admin section. So if I want that one, it will show me all the groups here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups there. So I can see all of them there, and I can use that one in my flow here to get the group number from there, and then run this HTTP there to see the users, and then add all of them to and then receive emails for them. So that's just as a test here. Do it here. So I will copy this one, copy to my clipboard, and it here, add an action here. I don't need to define, set up that again. All of those information are here, so it's easy. So let's check this one. It's get, and using this one there, I will use this one. But let me show you another thing here, which is I can see 4 workspace here, because I have access to all of them. Again, if you are an admin and you want to see all workspaces in your tenant, you need to use another things here, which is the get the groups as admin. So with this one, get the groups. Yeah, should be something here. Yep. Get the groups as admin. This will show all the groups in your tenant. If you are an admin, it doesn't need you have access to those workspace or not, but you are an admin, you should have access to all of them. So if you are at if you are admin, you need to use this one, but make sure you need to have this type of access there. But because I'm the admin, I can run this one. So I can say, okay, how many of them? Top 10 of them. So let's test this one, and I can see all of the workspace in my area. So sorry, this one is list of workspace. Yeah, this is all the workspace in my area, because some of them has been created by other people in other areas, so I can see all of them there. So some of them has been created by me, and I have access to them, so I can see them here. Even I can see my workspace there, but some of them are the workspace for other people, with this workspace for Adele, this workspace for Alex, and that's the personal group. So these items should be personal workspace. These are my workspace for those people, because I have a list of people here. So, and for some of them, I use Power BI before to try and test some scenarios. So active users, so say the first one should be Adele. So if I use the Adele one, Adele user to go inside the Power BI and check the Power BI, I can see those workspace here. So this is totally different when you are admin. And why I can use that one, because here in the access, I gave this tenant read write all access there, which is the one requirement here. So I can use this one, or I can use the other one. If I use the top 10 to 2, I can see just 2 workspace here, the top 2. If I change that to 200 or 2000, I can see 2,000 items there. All the my workspace from the different users are here. So all of them are personal workspaces. So yeah, so now I added another thing here, which is the group, and this will give me four groups. The output of that, let's back to the what we were the good groups. Yep, here. Let's wait to be loaded. I'm not sure what's happened because it showed me to use the second identification application, but I turned that off. So maybe I need to remove my cookies from my browser. So for workspaces, I want to use that one. So the output of this one is that one is something like this one. I will use this to parse the output of this one. So add an action, parse JSON and workspace IDs, and create sample here, done. And then I don't need this one because I want to use the group ID from there. Delete this one, and here I can say, okay, the group ID will be the parse JSON to the ID. When I add that one, automatically apply to each will be added there. Why? Because we will receive four workspace ID, and for each of them, this need to be run there. So I just want to save some time, but I can add these items there to keep those items somewhere and then append them to each other. But let's just run it and remove these items to save some time, because those will be same as the other one. But we can check this one to see how we can use it. So I will test this one, run it again, run file. Why does it here? Because the content property of action type processor must be by just okay. Here I can use this one, remove this, generate from sample, done. And okay, let's do something else. Sorry, let's run it again. We will face with issue again, but this time I will copy the body from here. And here, remove it again, generate from sample. This sample should be like this, is different than sample from there. So yeah, and then here, make sure it's ID. Yeah, it's okay, test it. Run flow, far away, why? Content expectation, pace, object array, interesting. So, okay. JSON schema online. This one. Okay, schema adapter. That's it. Now, let me use another one. Generate schema. Not 100%. I'm not sure about. So this is the schema for myself. And test it here. This time, okay, add it here. Now I need to remove this one and then add it here. Remove this one because I want to do that again from this. Here I will parse JSON. Oh, we don't have that one. So let's try it again. Maybe this time it works. And here we have ID and it's from value. Hopefully that will be done successfully. Content content, property of action, type of right. Yes. Ah, yes, that's correct. I don't need to add the name here. I need to set the body there. Sorry. Okay. Run it again. This time it's done. So what we have here, 4 workspace here. When we run that one, the output is 4. And when I open that one, it shows 2 of them here for me. So for the first one, I see this one. And then if I go to the next one, I can see another workspace with the users there. So it will run that. Oh, this is a good point actually here. I saw when I run this one, it shows me there are 4 workspaces: work, demo, and sorry, when I run it here, it shows 4 workspaces, work and demo. But when I run that here, there are 2. And that's because I added the Power BI service principal to 2 of them, not all of them. So if I add it here as a PBI API, added as admin here, added to this one as well, not that one. I added that one here. Maybe this is a company. How fast I am? Shouldn't be that fast. Stop. Okay, add that one here. API added here. Yes, here I just change it to admin. Done. So if I run this one again, I can see 4 workspace now because I added that application service principal to 4 of them. So now it takes more time. So here I can see just 1, 2, 3, and 4 items here, and there are 4 output there. For this one, which is the one workspace, I have all of them. This one, the next workspace, I can see the users for that workspace. So now I can use each of them to add those items to one dataset, live dataset, or another one. Let's show that we have time. Why not to do that? So I can, here in the company, I can create a streaming dataset here, API, and name it the test. And I need to add some items here. So when I run this one, I have these items there. So here I can add the names here. So this one will be text. This one will be text. And I just need this principal time text. And the other one is email address as a text. And another one as the workspace name, all of them as text. So make sure to turn on the historical data analysis, because if you don't do that, there is no cache behind this streaming data set. And for that, the data will be there just for 1 second. So when turn that on, there is a cache there. So that's a hybrid streaming data set. So you can skip the data there. So let's create that one. And here, let's edit this one. So for each of them, I want to add the Power BI. Let's use for Power BI. Search for Power BI, add row to the data set. So these are the actions for Power BI. I told you can run the DAX. So this is the run a query against data set. So if you want to run DAX, you can use this one. Okay, so I want to add a row to the data set here. And the workspace is a company. See all of the workspace here. I have a data set there, daily test, which I created there, and all of those streaming data set have a same table name, one table, and that's the real time data. When I click on that one, I can see all those columns I added there. So group user access, I can add. Okay, I need to parse this one as well. So let's run it again. Yeah, I will give the Power BI access to there. We will face with issue, that's okay. But what I need just one output to create a schema with that output. takes a little bit more, 14, because we want to add a row to that data set. Okay. So if we cancel this one, because it takes more time, and edit that one. Here, let me remove this to save some time, and then test it again. Just need the output of one of them, and then parse that one, and then be able to add each field to that one. So that's done. Here, what I need is just this body, and then again edit it. Edit that one. Here I need parse JSON here, and again the content is the body of this HTTP, and the schema from the sample. Okay, now I can add a row to the dataset. So it will be here. Add a row to a dataset. Again, select that company one, that one, and real-time data. Now I can find one-to-one data here. So group user access rights should be this one, and that will add each. That's correct. That's good. And then display name, principal type here, email address, and workspace. I can run that one, add that one from the name of the previous parse JSON when I parse the workspaces now. So here, where is that one? Name here. Added there. Let's test it. I will create that's done. I will create before I run that one, I will create a report there and add a table with all of those data. So there is nothing there. So I will test this one. So that will take time to add those information there. So I can refresh this one, see that works, and that's still adding the data there. So I can refresh this one, and can see that's work and add information to there. It takes some time. I can add one slicer there and add workspace name to here and make that one as a drop down. Oh, let's keep it as this. So here, that's done. So I have all of those data refreshed here. So I want to see who has access to company. I can see company workspace here, who has access to demo, who has access to tab, work, and the others. I can add another slicer here to see the type of the access, principal type. So I can find that, okay, how many user group has access there, in which workspace, or I can add another slicer for the type of the group access here, the type of access. I want to see who are the admins in different workspaces. I can see it here. Just in the company workspace, these items are the workspace. So I don't want to see the app, select the users. So these people are the admin for those workspaces. So you can play with this one. It's very powerful. This API is very powerful, and you can create many great solutions with that one.